Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Destructicon and today I am delighted to bring you my review of Tropico 6. Having played more of the Anno series lately, I came into Tropico expecting a very neat city building experience with some political machinations and fun parodying sprinkled in. What I found was a very deep societal and economic game which will frequently surprise and keep you engaged late into the nights. Now, let's dive into it. Tropico 6 is a real-time city builder and socio-economic simulator by developer Limbic Entertainment and publisher Calypso Media. In the game, you take up the mantle of governor on a fictional Caribbean island, El Presidente, and are tasked with managing a fine balancing act between gaining and keeping independence for your island, developing its economy, as well as keeping your citizens happy and on your side. You can play Tropico either through a series of single missions, which act as more elaborate tutorials, and a sandbox mode for veterans of the game and those looking to just build or make their own challenges. The game also has a tutorial, which I do recommend even if you're a fan of city builders in general, as elements like faction alignment and the approval system might not be immediately apparent. In a lot of the game modes, you usually start in one of the early eras, such as the colonial or world wars, and must navigate or adapt to the issues and needs of the time such that you can thrive. The economy of the game starts off simple enough. You produce resources and build complex supply chains in order to fuel an export-based economy. To support your agriculture and industry, you have to also manage your citizens, providing them with appropriate housing and catering to their diverse needs. While everything might sound standard thus far, you'll quickly find that the game has several intricacies which will throw a spanner in your carefully laid cogs. In regards to trade, you'll find that the demands for resources or finished goods changes regularly, either from year to year or even era to era. In one of my playthroughs, I went all in on the rum and gold production in the colonial age, only to find the goods were no longer in demand come the world wars. Instead, it is healthier to diversify and expand your economy into all industries. And unlike, say, the Anno series, proximity of your workers to their workplace matters. If homes are too far from industry, they will lie empty and the workers will build shacks around workplaces, denying you rent money while having you pay the upkeep. In addition, resource transportation is a big issue. Having your buildings too far from your factories and these too far from your docks will quickly bog down your economy and spiral you into unrecoverable debt. This, I found, leads to a bit more of an organic city planning, with your layouts hated more on resource locations and land management. While having huge sprawling cities and massive industrial complexes might sound great on paper, it can lead to suboptimal societies. Lastly, your economy can further be customized by taking advantage of the building's operating modes and budgets. The budget is pretty simple. By decreasing or increasing it, you lower or raise wages, raising productivity while also affecting a job's attractiveness at the price of higher spending on your part. Operating modes, on the other hand, change the way a building functions by offering an interesting advantage and disadvantage dynamic, sacrificing, say, worker happiness for more production. Sometimes you can even change how a building functions entirely, such as having restaurants only serve rich or filthy rich people, having a chocolate factory use only coca and not sugar, etc. As with many city builders, your society is made up of several different strata, with a lower, middle, and upper class. I found that the classes in Tropico are a lot less homogeneous than in other games, often having quite different interests and needs. This further complicates city planning, as now you'll need to take these differences into account, building specialized districts lest you end up with inefficient infrastructure and unhappy people. And of course, as this is an island paradise, you'll also need to manage a transition from an export-based income to a tourism empire, with its own special infrastructure and needs. Fortunately, your building menu provides you with a lot more details on each building compared to past games, such as its exact function, what kind of services it provides, and to which class. But your citizens' happiness is only one part of the staying in power equation. The other part is political views. As you advance in eras, your society will grow and become aware of several opposing political and worldview doctrines. Communism versus capitalism, conservatism versus intellectualism, etc. All these movements will also form political factions on your islands, whom will grant you different missions from time to time. Complete missions for factions to whom your citizens are most aligned will increase your standings with them and make it more likely they will vote for you in elections, provided you decide to hold elections in the first place. As such, you'll want to engage in a bit of manipulation, gently or not so gently nudging your citizens into a certain political point of view and then supporting the faction aligned with it. You can do so via a number of broad tools such as media, education, and edicts. Tropico 6 also offers the option to get more personal with your involvement, such as finding your individual opponents, attempting to bribe or imprison them, and as a last resort arrange for their subtle or not so subtle demise. Failing to keep your citizens happy and on your side could see them vote against you, or if you've been particularly oppressive, rise up in revolution. To help you manage all of this, Tropico gives you the Almanac, a tool which allows you to follow statistics on several important metrics such as employment rates, job or resident vacancy, as well as to highlight and see the effectiveness of service buildings and their coverage. But it doesn't end there, as you'll also have to manage external politics. Throughout the eras, several superpowers will arise. Getting on their good side brings economic benefits, such as foreign aid and better trade deals. Getting on their bad side, however, can result in an invasion which will see your regime toppled. To complicate things further, certain government policies or siding with one superpower will anger the rest. To give you an edge, you can use your pirate base to launch a variety of useful missions, such as raids to capture resources or blueprints, instigate rebellion, sabotage superpowers, influence trade and tourist reviews, or finally, steal iconic landmarks. And I'm not talking about some small landmarks. I mean monuments as iconic as the Eiffel Tower, Colosseum, the Great Pyramid of Giza, or even the White House. And these aren't just for show. Each monument brings a few unique benefits which will help you in managing your island, such as increasing the efficiency of edicts, making tourists more profitable, and so on. All of this boils down to a game where perfect management is nearly non-existent, as impossible as pleasing everyone. It's a game about compromise and making the most of the hand you are dealt at every turn. And while the economic simulation is as serious and deep as it can be, it's counterbalanced with brilliant comedy and satire. Tropico recognizes the world's imperfection, but doesn't take itself or anything too seriously, lightheartedly throwing jabs at the flawed political tropes, characters, and rhetoric, magnifying them through caricature and parody to expose their flaws. In terms of graphics, the game goes for better fidelity over style, with highly detailed models, textures, and a very vibrant and colorful palette, beautifully bringing the world of Tropico to life. Your advisors or various supporting characters have creative and stylish portraits to represent them, which also ties into the tone. The sound design also takes the tone and runs with it. A fun, upbeat music score dominates the background right from the game's menu, putting you in the mood. The voiceovers from the different characters and radio stations also reinforce their traits and provide comedic relief.
It is true, the wind is stronger than usual, and thunder has been heard rumbling in the distance, but I assure you...
The various sound effects for the different buildings do a good job of telling you their function and even gives them some personality. In terms of monetization and fairness, I think the game has some solid value at €50, just shy of the standard AAA price. So far I've spent around 43 or so hours playing one of the missions and then diving heavily into the sandbox mode. However, I feel like I haven't even grasped half of what it means to efficiently plan a city in Tropico. Hopping between the missions and the sandbox mode, I could easily see the game having over 75 hours of fun gameplay in it. Overall, for being a fun, lighthearted, but surprisingly complex socioeconomic city builder, I give Tropico 6 a respectable 8 out of 10. I didn't rate it any higher, as I felt it hadn't innovated too heavily on its formula, but I do feel what it does very well, and it's still a different and worthwhile game for fans of the genre. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on it. I do my best to produce content regularly, so you can tune in next week for a new video. You can also find me streaming on twitch.tv/Destructicon, and also some of my work on tl.net. Thank you all for watching and have an awesome day!